How we doing, everybody? So, here with you to kind of let you know what's going on for our second week of class. And remember, the way we're counting the weeks, at least right now, is kind of strange, stranger than what you might be used to because we're counting it from Wednesday to the following Tuesday or Wednesday. Okay, so week one we counted as January 6th, and our assignments that were available as of then, the discussion forum for the no-show assignment, the successful college composition, SCC, those exercises 2 and 3, and then reading the two narratives, the George Orwell and Bonnie Smith Yackle readings. So those 3 assignments are due this Wednesday, so tomorrow, depending on when you're looking at this video. I'm recording this video Tuesday, the 12th. So let me revise that. Wednesday the 13th, those assignments are due. And then our second week, you already have the announcement for it. I made that available as of Monday morning. But for our second week, we have 2 things. So number one, we want to actually write our very own narrative essay, okay? And if you want a model to follow on how things should look, it's the basic MLA format. You could look at the example, the student example, underneath the exercises in the narrative section of SCC. So that's chapter 3.1. After exercise 3, scroll down towards the bottom, you will see the student example. That's one good thing to follow right there. Also, I recommend that you guys check our paper format attachment in Blackboard. That is just another reference for you guys, how things should appear on the page, okay? Things are double-spaced, Times New Roman 12-point font, and these should be Microsoft Word or PDF attachments, okay? So you guys shouldn't send me Pages or Apple files because I have no Apple product. All of my work desktop, where I'm in front of which I am right now, my laptop at home, all Microsoft PC stuff. So make sure you guys are converting your files, sending me a Word or a PDF file. So in terms of what you need to think about for writing this essay, remember, an essay, or beg your pardon, a narrative essay, we're talking about stories, right? Stories have actions, okay? Stories have things that happen. They have a plot, do they not? Okay? So very roughly speaking, a plot has a beginning, a middle, and an end, okay? Now, an essay in our class, the length of all of our essays, besides our research essay towards the end, are 2 pages. So we need 2 pages minimum. If you want to go for 3, by all means, you could do that. So all in all, we're looking at a minimum of, say, 5 paragraphs, okay? So 5 paragraphs, that's 3 body paragraphs, an introduction, and a conclusion. That's going to run you about 2 pages, okay? So your topic for this narrative essay is a particularly meaningful experience, or if you want to think of it another way, a life-changing moment, okay? I count those as 2 sides of the same coin, okay? And the reason why I'm going big here, like a life-changing moment, something really big, is you only have 2 pages, right? So your focus needs to be pretty narrow. The narrative isn't asking you to recount all of your life events from when you were born till today, January 12th, 2021. You don't have enough space to do that, okay? So your narrative isn't recounting everything from I was born on this day, okay? Because a lot of that stuff is going to be filler. Like, we don't need to know what you did one Tuesday afternoon, okay? You put your dinner in the oven, you ate it, and you watched TV. That sounds like a typical afternoon in my life, frankly. But I don't know that I'd really write a narrative about that, right? It's kind of boring, humdrum every day. So I'm going to pick a big life moment that's really going to grab my reader, and that has action in it. Things are happening. There's a scene or scenes. Like, I can see this being displayed as a movie, okay? Now, how do you do that? How do you make your story pop? You use images, okay? And when we talk about imagery, we're talking about things that appeal to your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you taste? What do you feel? Tactile, okay? What do you smell? Okay? And then there's the great writer's adage, show, don't tell. And what we mean by that is demonstrate, illustrate. Don't tell us what's happening, show us what's happening, okay? So me telling you what's happening is I went to the door, I opened the door, and there he was, okay? You could maybe say that's showing, but if I wanted to amp that up a little bit with some more details, I would maybe tell you how I was feeling at that moment. I opened the door, my pulse started to pound, okay? I began to sweat because I knew on the other side of that door was my father, whom I haven't seen in 25 years, okay? So that second example I gave has a lot more detail, there's more drama, okay? So that's what we want. We want drama, we want to see, we want to taste, we want to smell, we want to feel, all these things. Make your story come to life. That's what we really want. And think of your life-changing moment, okay? How might you go about organizing your essay? Well, you guys did an exercise on that last week, or maybe you're still working on it right now. Exercises 2 and 3, and if you wanted to do exercise 1, you could, but I didn't need to see it. But those 3 exercises in the narration unit are all about how to organize, okay? How to begin, what you might want to write your story on. They had a list of topics there, okay? Using transitions in between your paragraphs, very good technique to use, especially for a narrative. Words like meanwhile and then what happened, okay? So those are words or phrases that interconnect your paragraphs, transitions, okay? Now, how do you begin? It's an introduction, right? You have to start somewhere. So in my example I gave, where I'm opening the door, my pulse pounding, I'm sweating, my father is on the other side of the door, I haven't seen him in 25 years, that would be my thesis statement, okay? That's the big main idea. I'm going to be talking about that in my whole paper, okay? Maybe some lead up to that moment, maybe a little backstory about me and my father, the dynamic of our relationship, okay? But before I get to my thesis, and remember, your thesis is the last sentence of your introduction. That's for this paper, that's for all papers we write. Thesis, always last sentence of the introduction, okay? So you're going to write your thesis, but how do you get to your thesis, okay? You got to start somewhere. You don't start with your thesis after all. You end with it in your introduction. So how might you begin? What I would do is I would look at my thesis and think of some ideas I could pull out of that thesis. Start with that in my intro, okay? So in my example, again, my pulse pounded, I'm sweating as I open the door, and I know my father's on the other side of the door. We had been corresponding or something. That's how I know he's on the other side of the door. How might I begin? Well, I might begin by talking about why or how surprises are so impactful, okay? It's when one is surprised, one feels alive, okay? Maybe I want to start my essay with that very sentence, okay? Next sentence, well, start talking about that a little bit more. What does it mean to feel alive, okay? Talk about it a little bit more, and then I get more detailed, more specific, and I start to link it into my thesis. So then maybe I start saying, a time in my life when I felt very surprised, very alive, very, very nervous, very anxious, was when I reconnected with my father after 25 years, and he told me he was coming to town to visit me. Then plug in my thesis, okay? So this is all to say, in an introduction, you start big. You usually start with like a big concept or a big idea, and then with every sentence you write after that, you're getting more and more narrow until your thesis at the end of the intro, the specific thing you're going to talk about in the essay, using major and minor supporting details, okay? So your details in your essay are going to be those sights, those sounds, okay, those images that make your story come to life, okay? So that's kind of the broad brushstrokes explanation of this first essay, which is going to be due on I think let me just verify here. Originally it was going to be due the 17th, which is Sunday, but I'm giving you a little extra time. It's going to be due on the 19th, which is a Wednesday, okay? So the 19th on Wednesday, have it due then, all right, for the narrative. Now, there's one other assignment this week that is due on the 17th, and it is a journal. Journals are like reflective pieces that I ask you all to write. They're individual. You don't have to comment on each other's journal, although I will comment on your journal just to kind of, engage with you. But the journal for this week is on narration, and I'm usually for journals, I ask you kind of big questions, kind of reflection questions, as we said, and I'm going to ask you to think about why we tell stories in the first place. What's the power, the allure, maybe the function of storytelling? Why do we do this storytelling business? Okay. In fact, as of my recording this video, I've already put in my own little journal. Okay. I didn't write the full length I'm asking you all to write. I just kind of gave it as a starter. I ask you all to write at least 150 words and give me 2 paragraphs. So when I go to grade these journals, I'm looking for, 1, do I have 2 paragraphs? Do I have at least 150 words? And then, are you answering the journal prompt? Okay, you do all those 3 things, you'll get your 100. Okay, so the journal, and there's a journals folder, there's a journals section in Blackboard, that's where you'll find it. The journal is on the 17th. That's something that is due on the 17th, okay? And then the 19th is going to be your essay, your first essay, your narrative, okay? And never mind, you saw me do that. A colleague entered the room and I wanted to tell him, hey, I'm shooting a video right now. It can wait. So never mind that, okay? So 2 things due this week. And this week we're carrying over to the 19th, okay? That is when your narrative is due. The 17th, though, a few days before that, Sunday, your journal is due, okay? And by the time you all have seen this video, you've turned in your discussion form for the no-show, okay? You've done your first SCC exercises 2 and 3, and you've done your responses to the 2 essays, the George Orwell essay and the Bonnie Smith-Yackel essay. And you notice that I have the discussion questions attached to the assignment link for that, okay? You all have done that, working on the essay and the journal for our second week. If you want to run it by me, like your topic, your big meaningful experience, or you want little pointers or help, email me and I will help you out. If you are trying to think of a way to make your story come alive more, or maybe you want a more detailed explanation of how to organize things, just let me know. Okay, and I will be happy to help you guys on that, okay? So that's going to be our second week's video, and it is now plugged into our announcement for week 2. So I will be with you guys shooting another video probably around this time every week, okay? And I will say sayonara, good luck this week, have a good week, stay safe and healthy out there, and let me know if you need any help. Peace, bye-bye.